This morning, I removed the Conservative whip from Robert Jenrick after dismissing him from the shadow cabinet. I was very sorry to be presented with clear, irrefutable evidence, not just that he was preparing to defect, but he was planning to do so in the most damaging way possible to the Conservative Party and his shadow cabinet colleagues. It is my responsibility to protect our party, and faced with that information, I took the only decision that any responsible leader could. Because the British public are tired of political psychodrama. So am I. They saw too much of it in the last government, they're seeing too much of it in this government. I will not repeat those mistakes. When I was elected leader, I committed to doing politics differently. Disloyalty and dishonesty undermine trust in politics. They're also disrespectful to our party members, our councillors, MPs, and most of all, voters. You all deserve better. Conservatives suffered a heavy defeat in 2024. That was painful, but we are rebuilding, with strong principles, clear plans, and with a serious team united around a shared purpose. When individuals choose to walk away from that effort for personal ambition, that tells you nothing about the Conservative Party and everything you need to know about them. There will be more to say, and I know a lot of commentary about this decision. But I want you all to be in no doubt. It's a time of global uncertainty. I am focused on holding the government to account, ensuring they are acting in the national interest, and that Conservatives deliver a proper plan for a stronger economy, stronger borders, and a stronger Britain.
Kemi Badenoch's decision to sack Robert Jenrick and strip him of the Tory whip is not just another episode of Westminster infighting. It's a strategic move in a much larger battle for the future of the British right. The allegation that Jenrick was plotting to defect to Reform UK turns what had been whispered for months into a full-blown crisis of confidence inside the Conservative Party. The timing matters. Reform UK has been steadily carving into the Tory base, attracting voters who once treated the Conservatives as the natural home of Brexit conservatism. If MPs begin jumping ship ahead of the election, it signals something far more corrosive than a polling slide. It suggests that the party no longer believes it can protect its own flank. Badenoch's swift intervention is meant to project control, discipline, and ideological clarity, especially as she positions herself as a major force within the post-Sunak Conservative landscape. But the deeper question beneath the theatrics: does punishing Jenrick stem the bleeding or accelerate it? If Reform UK is becoming a magnet for restless Tory MPs, then Jenrick is not an isolated case but a preview of what a post-election realignment could look like. The nightmare scenario for the Conservatives is not just losing an election, it's losing the right-wing ecosystem that has held together since Brexit and watching Reform become the gravitational center of a new coalition. In that sense, Badenoch understands the stakes. Internal purges can create a rally around the flag effect, but they can also confirm the very weakness they are meant to conceal. Westminster has seen plenty of ideological splits before, but rarely has one come at a moment when the Conservatives are this vulnerable and Reform is this viable. What happens next will determine whether the Tory party can reassert itself as the dominant force on the right, or whether Jenrick's case marks the beginning of a post-Tory era in British politics.
Yes, as far as we know, that's still going to happen. We are now expecting around now, or next a couple of hours, Nigel Farage to speak to Robert Jenrick. He said in that press conference in Fife about an hour or so ago he would give him a ring. They admitted he'd been in touch with him in recent weeks. It's worth noting the timeline here. According to the Tory party, again, no one from the team around Jenrick or the man himself is picking up the phone to me, so we're relying on Tory sources for this. But according to the Conservatives, there was a dinner took place between Nigel Farage and Robert Jenrick Jenrick last month. Then after that, there was chatter around will he go to Reform UK. We are now told that the team around Kemi Badenoch found what they say is evidence that was overwhelming that he wanted to defect to Reform UK to cause maximum damage. That led to a phone call this morning between Rebecca Smith, who is the shadow chief whip for the Tory party. In that phone call, we are told by the Tories, Robert Jenrick denied wanting to jump to Reform UK. He then, in quotes, slammed the phone down on Rebecca Smith, and that led to this statement on Twitter from Kemi Badenoch.
This morning, I removed the Conservative whip from Robert Jenrick after dismissing him from the shadow cabinet. I was very sorry to be presented with clear, irrefutable evidence, not just that he was preparing to defect, but he was planning to do so in the most damaging way possible to the Conservative Party and his shadow cabinet colleagues. It is my responsibility to protect our party, and faced with that information, I took the only decision that any responsible leader could. Because the British public are tired of political psychodrama. So am I. They saw too much of it in the last government, they're seeing too much of it in this government. I will not repeat those mistakes.
Now, that's one of the most dramatic messages on X I've seen in politics for a while. That led to difficult questions for Nigel Farage, who was doing a press conference at the same time up in Fife. Here's what he said about his view on this dramatic news.
So there's a lot of people seriously considering their future. As far as Mr. Jenrick's concerned, of course I've talked to Robert Jenrick. Was I on the verge of signing a document with him? No. But have we had conversations? Yes.
So he was considering leaving the Conservatives and joining Reform UK?
I think virtually every Conservative is considering leaving the Conservatives, yes.
Now, Nigel Farage was on the back foot there. He wasn't aware of the news before it broke. And he normally does say that he talked to Tories all the time. He's been saying that since his days running UKIP in the early part of the last decade. He then went on to say in further questioning he would be giving Robert Jenrick a phone call saying, what are your plans? Because now Robert Jenrick is out of the Tory party as an MP and as a member. He is stateless. He is not in a party at all. Completely dramatic. Other parties have been piling in. Labour Party says it's part of the psychodrama of the Tory party. And here's what Ed Davey had to say. He's the leader, of course, of the Lib Dems.
This is one more rat leaving a sinking ship. The Conservatives have run out of ideas and Reform only have bad ones. I think voters will see that it's been the Liberal Democrats holding the Labour government to account on things like water, with all those people in the South East water area with no water, with the corridor care crisis in A&E across our hospitals. So Liberal Democrats will continue to put forward our ideas and hold this government to account.
So Ed Davey there using a conversation about water shortages in Kent to attack, of course, Reform and the Tory party. This has created a ferment in Westminster in Parliament. Most MPs have gone away for their weekend break, but this is not expected in short order. It says two things to me. It says the clarity that Kemi Badenoch was feeling as leader. She feels strong after 3 months of being leader, having those policies announced in the Tory party conference. Also, question marks now for Nigel Farage. Does he want to bring in a genuine big beast on as an MP that'll be a rival leadership to him in the party? What are the terms that Robert Jenrick may try and extract in that phone call in coming hours? And there's a press conference live on GB News. We're expecting around 4:30. That could be dramatic. I wouldn't go anywhere. I would get in the popcorn.